Where the... Where am I? Did Andy Carroll do this to me? He must have gotten upset about the joke in the last video. Let's see. Did he drop me off at a Renaissance fair? What is this place? I mean... Oh, maybe there's some people over here that can help me. Let me see.
Kramer, qu'est-ce que tu fais?
Excuse me? Hi, hello. Do you all have a
Les
map
stupides
of where
américains ne
we
savent pas
are?
parler français.
Oh,
Putain de madré.
sir, can you please help me?
We are in Saint-Martin-Boulogne.
Oh, I gotta go. No, this can't be happening to me. Please. Come on, there's gotta be some... Ah yes, the nation of France. What a beautiful country. I'm glad that I'm finally covering a country that's been able to win something in the past few years. However, we probably don't need to talk about the fact that France is no longer considered in the top 5 leagues of Europe. Today, we'll be looking at where the most French footballers come from. The rules that we used for the last video on England will still apply for this video for France. Rule 1 is that each player on this list must declare their nationality as French. Rule 2 is that a player must play for a top 5 league in Europe, or in Ligue 2 or the National League in France. Rule 3 is that each player must have at least 10 professional appearances. And last but not least, there has to be some sort of public information to find out where these players are from. With that being said, that leaves us with a grand total of 770 players to analyze for this. Without further ado, let's get straight into the list. I think we've all heard the joke before that France has a lot of players that come from overseas. However, there are only a total of 30 players. Out of those 30 players, they come from 17 different countries. And instead of saying them all out loud, I'm just gonna put a list on screen now. Now, are there any big name players that come from these countries? Yes, Camavinga comes from Angola, Umtiti comes from Cameroon, Michael Olise comes from England, and the Thuram brothers come from Italy. One thing to note is that this is double the amount of players that come from other countries compared to England, which only had 14. This also means that foreign-born players make up roughly 4% of the total French footballer population. Now that we have that out of the way, we can start in the regions of France. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that France has a good amount of overseas territories that players are from. Now these places are technically regions of France, however, some of them are considered different things such as a special collectivity, which is unique in the French government. So for the purposes of this video, they will be counted separately from the mainland regions of France. There are 5 total territories that include French Guiana, Guadeloupe, Martinique, Mayotte, and Réunion. Players of note from these regions would include Thomas Lemar coming from Guadeloupe, Mike Mignon, and Edouard coming from French Guiana. There are a total of 20 players that come from these territories, with Guadeloupe having the most with 7 players. Now we can actually begin breaking down the list. Thank God that there are way less regions in France when compared to England. France only has 13 administrative regions, which makes this a whole lot easier. There have been a lot of changes in the past when it came to defining the regions of France. However, I've decided to go with the most up-to-date map, which was fully updated in 2019. The final thing I'm going to mention before we start this list is that I am not French. I do not speak French. So if I mispronounce any of these things, I'm very sorry. Of course, to start things off, we have a tie for last place between the regions of Centre-Val de Loire and Corsica. Both of these regions have 18 players each. Diop comes from Tours, which is in Centre-Val de Loire, and Lucas Pellegrini, not Luca Pellegrini, is from the capital of Corsica. Coming up in 11th place is the region of Bourgogne-Franche-Comté, which has a total of 22 players. Antoine Griezmann is from this region, and he seems to be the only real player of note. In 10th place, we have the region of Pays de la Loire, with a total of 26 players. Out of these 26 players, there isn't really anyone of note. Because of this, I decided to go into Football Manager, where I am in the year 2026, to see who has had the best career. Out of those players, Quentin Merlin had the best career, even though his stats look like this. Following that, we have the region of Normandy with a total of 28 players. Now, this region may be known for a few historical events and the fact that the people from here were the last to invade England successfully. God, I wish I was there with them. They also have some great footballers. The best out of this region would be Upamecano, Tchouaméni, and Dembele. In 8th place, we have the region of Nouvelle-Aquitaine with a total of 38 players. Even though this is the largest region in France, as well as the 4th most populated, they don't have many great footballers. The only player of note would be Badiashile from Chelsea. In 7th place, we have the region of Grand Est, which has a total of 40 players. Once again, this region doesn't have that many players of note. The only real name that I recognized when I was looking through the documents was Jonathan Klaus, who's from Strasbourg. There's a tie for 5th place between the regions of Hauts-de-France and Occitania. Both of these regions have 52 players each. Pavard, Playa, and Terrier all come from Hauts-de-France. From Occitania, there is Issa Diop and Adli. In 4th place, we have the region of Brittany, which has a total of 54 players. As a quick side note, when I was doing the research for this video, every time that I would look up a city that was in Brittany, the Tourism of Brittany website would come up. Sometimes this website would even come up before Wikipedia pages. Anyway, there are 2 players worth mentioning from Brittany, and they are Méliès and Enzo Lafitte. Coming in at 3rd place with a total of 71 players is Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes. There are a lot of good players from this region, including Kimpembe, Giroud, Benzema, Aouar, Fekir, and Tolisso. Lyon, which is a city in this region, has the 3rd highest amount of players with a total of 22. In 2nd place, we have the region of Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur. I'm sorry if I completely butchered that. Players such as Hugo Lloris, Wesley Fofana, the Hernandez brothers, and Boubacar Kamara all make up the 76 players that come from this region. The city of Marseille has the 2nd highest count for a city with a total of 28 players. Coming in 1st place with no real surprise is the Ile-de-France with a total of 225 players. This means that a little under 30% of French players come from this region. I really would have liked to break down the suburbs of Paris, however there were too many players who only had Paris listed as the location. There are a total of 57 players from Paris and even more from the different suburbs. This also means that the city of Paris is by far and away the largest producer of French footballers. Mbappe, Kanté, Saliba, Nkunku, Pogba, Martial, Ben Yedder, and so many more are from this region of France. That should do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. It takes a lot of work to get these videos together, so it would mean a whole lot if you liked the video and subscribed if you're new to the channel. The next geography video should be on Germany, which will be pretty fun. I do have some other projects in the works right now, so expect some other videos to come out as well. Those videos are going to be about 30 minutes to an hour long, so if you're into more long-form content, make sure to stay tuned for those. Other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day.